Good afternoon, students. Continuation of chapter 18, page number 164. Okay. Now, voluntary organizations for consumer awareness. The consumers, they have set up a organization. They have formed an organization just to protect the rights and interest of the consumers. So that is known as voluntary organizations for consumer awareness. Now, the main objectives of this consumer organization, okay, voluntary organization, we'll see. The Department of Consumer Awareness Affairs operates the Consumer Welfare Fund. Okay, so there is a separate department called as Consumer Welfare Fund. Okay, now who operates this? The Department of Consumer Affairs. They operate this Consumer Welfare Fund. The main objective of this Consumer Welfare Fund is to strengthen the consumer advocacy movement in India. Okay, to provide all the support for all the consumers. Okay, the wide network of voluntary consumer organization is doing commendable work to raise awareness among the consumers. So this voluntary consumer organization, it is set up in so many places. There is a network of association organization set up. The main objective is to provide protect the interest of the consumers. Okay. Next, to strengthen the consumer protection and welfare and to provide counseling, guidance and mediation service. So what do? They provide counsel, guidance and mediation services to the consumer. Okay. VCO supported through the CWF provides grants for diverse projects including comparative testings of products and service and disseminations of the findings. Now this organization, the voluntary consumer organization, along with the Consumer Welfare Fund, they provide so many supports to the government also by taking samples of various suppliers, doing the testing, and whatever they find, whatever defects or whatever they find from the research, they spread the information to the public through medias. Okay, you would have seen in so many ads, you get messages through WhatsApp also. All these products, all these medicines are not to be consumed, it is harmful. Okay, all that is done after the findings by so many research and testing. Dissemination of finding, dissemination meaning spreading the information quickly, widely. Okay, steps have been taken to enhance transparency and to digitalize the government's interference with the citizens. So everything, they are taking so many steps to digitalize, to computerize all the government's response for the consumer welfare. Next is accelerating consumer awareness, educating the consumers. The first priority of a consumer organization is to accelerate consumer awareness towards their rights. Okay, so the first priority, the importance of this organization, voluntary organization, is to make the consumer aware about their own rights. Okay, to accomplish this task, the following efforts are made. So what do? The voluntary organization, what steps they are taking? Okay, publish the brochures, journals and monographs. They publish all the informations in various journals. To arrange conference, seminars and workshops. They also conduct various workshops where the consumers are educated about their rights. To educate consumers to help themselves. Okay, and to provide special education to women about consumerism. To maintain desirable standards, the following steps are followed. Okay, So to maintain the standards, what steps these voluntary organizations are taking? First one is collecting the data on different products and testing them. So they collect various samples from the uh, suppliers or the manufacturers. They collect various samples of different products, and they they give it to the research center for testing purpose, and whatever result they get out of the findings, it is declared to the public, it is informed to the public. Okay. Likewise, these organizations, they provide the information to the consumers about the product. Next is filing suit on behalf of the consumers. Now, consumers, single customers, no, they may hesitate to go and file the complaints against the supplier. So, what this organization do? They file the suit, file the case against the suppliers or the manufacturers on behalf of the consumers. Okay. So, whenever a consumer fails to raise his voice to protect uh, of protest regarding his complaints, these consumer organizations come to the rescue and file a case in the court on behalf of the consumers. Okay. Next is organizing protest against adulteration. Okay. Now this voluntary organization, they also play a major role in eliminating the adulteration. Adulteration means mixing of the products. Okay. Like they will mix hazardous product with the milk, chili powder, all that. Okay. So that is eliminated. And hoarding, black marketing. Black marketing is creating artificial demand in film cinema halls and all. They put a note houseful, but the tickets will be sold in black for a higher price. So that is known as black marketing. And underweight selling. Helping educational institutions. Now, the organization, they also advise the educational institution, like this consumerism, the consumer rights, the consumer, how the consumers have to be protected, what are their responsibilities, duties, everything. It is included as a syllabus in the curriculum. Okay. In the educational curriculum, so that even the youngsters are educated about their rights, their responsibilities, and how they are exploited. Everything, they acquire more knowledge at the younger age itself. Promoting the network of consumer association. So they this voluntary organization, they they promote network of consumer association. They form so many association in different places, so that all the consumers are protected in all the areas. Okay. There is a network of association formed. So consumer organizations are trying to grow their numbers. They want to cover all the regions of the country, so that consumers of all the regions are benefited by their service. Next is extending support to the government. So they also, this consumer organization, they also provide support to the government. They also keep informing the government about the fraudulent activities done by the manufacturers of a particular brand. Everything is updated to the government about adulteration, artificial scarcity, inferior quality produced, etc. Okay. Next is procedure for filing the complaint. So when a consumer is exploited, how he has to raise a complaint and what are the procedures, we'll see. Okay. Now, a complaint can be filed by a complainant against the seller. So if I am the complainant, if I am affected, I am the affected consumer. Okay, in that case, I am the complainant. So I can raise a complaint against the seller or the manufacturer or the dealer of the goods, okay, which are defective, or against the provider of services. if they are deficient in any manner whatsoever. An unfair trade practice or restrictive trade practice can also uh, invite complaint. What are the steps involved in filing the complaint in the consumer court? Okay, so where the consumer has to file the uh, case, they have to file the case in the consumer court. Okay, now what are the steps involved to file the complaint in the consumer court? First, the customer, the affected customer, they have to send a legal notice to the seller or the company. Okay, we cannot just send a notice. It should be through a lawyer, okay, of the consumer court. Okay, first we have to approach the consumer court. In the consumer court, there will be a lawyer. They have to raise a complaint against the seller or the company. Now, what are required? Details of the consumer like the name, address, product or service, purchase details of the company, etc. Okay, so like who was raising the complaint, that person's name, address, and what product did he buy, all that should be uh, mentioned. Necessary details of the problems faced and describe the deficiency in service. What was the problem faced by the customer? Okay, and what action did the company take in response? First, when the consumers approached the seller, what was the response of this seller? That has to be stated. Action expected from the company. What the consumer expects the company to do. Okay, time period given to the company to take action. Okay, and the legal action that will be taken upon the failure of the company in sending a reply to the legal notice. So when the consumer court lawyer sends a notice to the seller, okay, or the manufacturer, they have to reply within the time allotted. So in case if they do not reply within the time allotted, what actions will be taken? Okay, that also has to be stated in the complaint. Next, who can make the complaint? Now, any customer or any consumer who comes under the Consumer Protection Act 1986. Okay, so Consumer Protection Act 1986 defines who are the persons who are included as a consumer or the customer. All that persons can file a complaint against the in the consumer court. The Registered Voluntary Consumer Association, or the central government or the state government, union territory, or one or more representing numerous consumers having the same interest. Now this, like so there are so many chit funds who are cheating the consumers. Okay, so maybe if 50 customers are affected, maybe 1 or 2% from out of that 50 may represent the other customers and file a complaint. Now when a complaint can be made? A complaint may be made in writing under the following circumstance. So when do a customer raise a complaint? When the goods purchased are damaged. Okay, loss or damage is caused to the consumers due to unfair trade practice of the trader. Any loss is incurred to the customer. If the article purchased by the consumers is defective, article is defective. If the service availed by the consumer suffers from any deficiency, if the customer avails some service and out of that service some uh, damage or health hazard has been caused to the consumers. Okay, when the price paid by the consumer is in excess of the price displayed on the goods. Okay, when the price is paid in excess, goods which will be hazardous or harmful to the life and safety when used are being offered for sale to the public in contravention of the provisions of any law. So in all these cases, the consumer can raise a complaint in the consumer court. How to register a complaint? The complaint should be registered by the following ways. Complaint can be registered within 2 years. So the time limit is within 2 years from the date on which the cause of action has arisen, okay, to the date on which the completions from the deficiency in services. Stamp paper is not required. You need not raise a complaint in a stamp paper for declaration. Complaint can be registered in person. You can directly register in person, okay, or through an agent, or you can post it to the addressed to the redressal agencies, okay. And you don't need any advocates also, okay. How can we raise? You can just give it through postal address, or you can go in person and raise a complaint, or through an agent also you can file a complaint. What are the particulars that should be furnished along with the complaint? So when you raise a complaint, along with that complaint, what all has to be attached, okay. The complaint should contain the following particulars: the name and complete address of the complainant, the person who is raising the complaint, the name and complete address of the opposite party, the supplier or the manufacturer or the business person, okay, the date of purchase of the goods and services availed, amount paid for the above purpose, particulars of the goods purchased with number and details of services availed. The details of complaint, whether it is against unfair trade practice or what is the actual complaint, has to be mentioned. Supply of defective goods, deficiency in services provided, collection of excess price. So what was the cause for the complaint has to be stated. The bill, the copy of invoices has to be attached, okay. Now relief to the consumers. What kind of relief is provided to the consumers? The district forum and the state commission can order the following relief to the consumers: to remove the defect in the goods pointed out. So if a customer raises a complaint to the consumer forum, the consumer forum will ask the opposite party to settle the complaint, to remove the defect, okay. Next, to replace the goods purchased. They may ask the supplier to replace the goods. Return to the complainant the price of the goods, or they may ask to compensate for the purchase by returning the price. To pay such amount of compensation for the loss or injury suffered by the consumers. To discontinue unfair trade practices. They also may request to stop the unfair trade practices and not to repeat it. To withdraw hazardous goods from being offered for sale, okay, to stop selling hazardous goods, and to provide the cost of expenditure incurred by the complainant, okay. All the expenses, whatever expense a complainant has incurred, the seller or the supplier has to compensate it. Now what is the appeal provision? Aggrieved by the orders issued by the District Consumer Redressal Forum appeal, petitions can be filed before the State Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission within 30 days from the date of receipt of the order. Now, aggrieved by the orders means if I have raised a complaint in the district forum, first I have to raise a complaint in the District Consumer Redressal Forum. If I am not satisfied with the response given by the District Consumer Forum, I can file a petition in the State Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission within 30 days from the date of receipt of the order. So, from the date when the District Forum has given the orders to me, if I am not satisfied with the orders, within 30 days from that date, I have to raise a complaint in the State Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission. Now, aggrieved by the orders if the state commission's order, if I am not satisfied, then I can file a petition in the National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission within 30 days from the date of receipts of the order. Okay. Now, agreed by the orders issued by the National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission, appeal petitions can be filed before Supreme Court. If I am not still satisfied with the orders issued by the National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission, the orders which is given by the National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission, then within 30 days from that order, I have to raise a complaint in the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court's order will be the final. Okay. No fees is charged for registering the appeal. No fees is charged for registration of the appeal petition before State Commission or National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission. The appeal petition has to be filed with the grounds for appeal with copies of orders of lower redressal agencies, and registering procedures are the same as is being done in case of registering complaint. So when you file a petition in this forums, district level or state level or national level, you have to attach the copies of the orders given by the district forum or the state commission or the national commission. Okay. And the registering procedures is the same for all the levels. Now go through this from page number 164 till 167 line by line, understand the meaning. Okay. And I will send you the assignment. Okay. Learn and write those questions and send me today before 5 p.m.